Before you decide to apply for an healthcare visa as an international student in the UK or an international applicant, you need to watch this video as I'll be sharing with you some of the latest updates on the health and care work visa in the United Kingdom and some of the things you need to avoid when accepting a certificate of sponsorship from an employer in the United Kingdom. So if you think this will interest you, don't go anywhere, keep watching till the end. Hello guys, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Daniel. I currently reside in the UK and I share videos around traveling abroad. So if you're looking for a place to get first-hand information, you're in the right place guys. Click on the subscribe button below to join the amazing growing family. And for my returning subscribers, thank you guys for the love. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Sometime in 2021, 24th of December 2021 to be precise, the UK government decided to add care workers as part of the shortage occupation list in the United Kingdom. And thousands of people have been moving into the UK on this healthcare visa. And it's important that I share with you guys in this video some of the things you need to check out for when applying for a certificate of sponsorship or accepting a certificate of sponsorship from an healthcare employer in the United Kingdom. Now, many people have been coming to the UK on this visa and most of them are having loads of regret. I was on TikTok a couple of days ago and I joined a particular live and people were sharing how they spent or sold every of the properties back home in Nigeria. So another person talked about leaving Ghana to come to the UK on the healthcare visa, only for them to get here and they were disappointed at the kind of life they were experiencing compared to what they used to experience. And the truth is, many people just accept healthcare job, pay each some amount of money. I recently heard that people are paying as high as £8,000 to get a COS to apply for the healthcare visa to remain in the UK. Now, it's been stated categorically by the UK government that it's illegal to pay an employer to get certificate of sponsorship. If you apply, you do interview, and they think you're fit for the job, they should be able to grant you the COS without collecting a dime. However, some employers in the UK are still accepting huge sum of money to give people COS and all of those stuff. And as I said, it's illegal. And if you are caught, it's stated that your visa will be revoked and you have to go back to your home country. However, that's not the major focus of this video. And now this video basically is just to share with you guys some of the recommendation made by the Migration Advisory Committee to the healthcare, to the social and healthcare in the UK, and also some of the things people are experiencing on the healthcare visa in the UK. Now, I recently heard about a woman who spent practically everything she had, sold lots of stuff back home, and paid for a certificate of sponsorship with an employer. Now, the employer promised her that she has a care home in the UK and all she needs to do is just to work for 37.5 hours per week in her care home. That was the initial agreement, that was the initial plan. So I think she paid about £6,000 to this employer to get this done. And the excitement of moving from your own country down to the UK, she moved down here only for her to discover that this particular employer doesn't have a care home. The contract she has got, as a matter of fact, when she first came in, the employer had just few contracts and she wasn't paying them as much as they initially agreed. And based on the contract she signed, that's why I said if you're signing a contract in the UK or for any employment in the UK, it's important that you read through that contract very well. Now, the UK government said before you can apply for healthcare visa, you need to ensure that your employer pays you, or your employer must pay you about £21,000 per annum. That's one of the major requirements before you can apply for the healthcare visa. Now, this employer promised to pay this particular amount. However, on the contract, it's stated that it's a 0-hour contract, meaning that you only get paid based on the number of hours you work. So she accepted this particular contract, got the COS, applied for the visa, moved into the UK and discovered that the employer doesn't have a care home. The contract she has with the council is to work as a domiciliary carer. And if you work as a domiciliary carer, you know what the job entails. I remember when I first came into the UK, I got a job with a particular care company here in the UK to work as a domiciliary carer. I did training, did all of the onboarding process, went for my first 2 induction shifts, and that was the last time I went there. I said I was not going to do this. Domiciliary care, your job role is to move from one house to another, administering medication and all of those stuff. And when the player told me that he's just going to pay me based on the number of hours I spent in a client's home. So imagine you going for a 13-hour shift, and because of transportation, obviously you don't have a car at that moment. You have to move from one user to another. So the care home only pays for the amount of hours you spend in the client's house. So if you spend 30 minutes and spend another 20 minutes to go to another person's house, that 20 minutes in between, you won't be paid. So at the end of the month, this woman discovered that while working 12-hour shift a week, 12-hour shift a day, probably working for like 5 days in a week, at the end of the month, she gets paid about £1,100. That's ridiculous. So she ended up going through a lot of stress, especially now that it's extremely cold. She ended up going through a lot of stress and get paid peanuts. That's what she's experiencing at the moment, and she's having loads of regrets, calling her husband back home. And she wants to go back to Nigeria because of the stress she's going through compared to the amount of money she's getting. It's really ridiculous. So that's why before you accept any serious, please read your contract properly before you accept. So you don't accept a contract that will put you in deep problem, because you end up coming here and you get paid less to what you are actually expected to pay. However, so now as regards to the UK healthcare visa, a lot of news is going whether it's going to stop. My take on this is that the UK healthcare visa is not going anywhere anytime soon, because the UK is still currently experiencing huge shortage of care workers in the United Kingdom. So if you're still planning to come to the UK on the healthcare visa in 2023, don't relent, still keep applying, and I'll also still keep sharing some of the job vacancies for healthcare workers in the UK with you guys on this channel. Now, the MAC, which is the Migration Advisory Committee, made some recommendation as regards the welfare or well-being of the healthcare workers in the UK to the on adult social care, health, and care visa. And some of these recommendations are actually very valid, and I felt you need to know some of these things so you know what you're actually getting yourself into. Now, one of the recommendations they made to the government is to introduce a fully funded minimum rate of pay for care workers in England that is above the national living wage, where care is being provided through public funds. As a minimum starting point, we should recommend a level of £10.50 per hour to be implemented immediately. Honestly, working as a care worker, I actually admire people working in care homes. Is a lot of job. Honestly, it's a lot of job, and they get paid minimum wage. Some people get paid a bit lower than the minimum wage, which is ridiculous, honestly, to be fair. So the one of the commission is for them to increase the amount of money paid to care workers in the United Kingdom. They also recommend that workers in social care should be paid for the hours while at work, whether this is time spent traveling or sleeping, whilst these hours are not properly compensated. And that's the truth. Most people spend hours to get to their place of work, and they don't get paid for the hours. I remember when I first came into the UK, I was working with a particular care agency, and I had to travel about 1 hour 45 minutes from my house to the location, and I don't get paid for that 1 hour 45 minutes. So 1 hour 45 minutes to 1 hour 45 minutes back home, that's over 3 hours I don't get paid for. They only pay me for the number of hours I spend in that particular hospital, which is ridiculous, honestly. So this was a recommendation made by the MAC to as regards to the care visa. Now, they also recommend that annual salary threshold should not be prorated to allow for part-time work for migrants on the health and care visa. This is one of the recommendation. And also they still do not recommend any change in English language proficiency, because if you're in the UK, you obviously go to speaking in English, and they also ensure that the people they are bringing into the UK are very eloquent in English language. So, and you all know the IELTS score required for that. Now, they also recommend that workers who spend the full 5 years working in nursing or care roles on the health and care work visa should either receive a complete settlement fee waiver or pay a lower fee that is no higher than the unit cost of processing. The cost of this accommodation should not be passed on to other visa fees, which is true. After working your ass out as a nurse or a care worker in the UK for 5 years, there should be at least some compensation for that. That's their opinion and recommendation as regards the care work visa. So if you have any other questions as regards the latest updates on the care visa, please state in the comment section. And if you're coming across my video for the first time, please click on the like button, click on the red subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And for my returning subscribers, thank you guys for the love. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.